there is the IRA tax credit that came out going live in January of 2023 in the United States. Something, I don't know if you guys saw, but they released the actual trim levels that are going to fall in it's government at work.
It's so stupid.
Producer wife, go ahead and pull up the link for the IRS tax credit. So this is from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service of the United States, where they are defining which Tesla vehicles for 2023 are going to be eligible for the $7,500 tax credit. And this is for Tesla specifically. There's other brands, and I'm going to have producer wife bring it up in a second here. So there's a price cap for the cars for you to be able, for someone to be able to get the $7,500 credit. And for the Tesla cars, here's how they have it defined. There's a separation between sedan and SUV. Sedans is up to a $55,000 MSRP, and SUVs and I believe pickup trucks is up to $80,000 MSRP. So the thing that sticks out here, which is odd, the Tesla Model 3 fine, $55,000. The Tesla Model 3 long range, $55,000. And then you also see Tesla Model Y 7-seat variants. You have 3 rows, $80,000. Nice. $80,000 for the long range. Nice. $80,000 for the performance, 7-seat. Nice. But then you get to the Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive 5-seat variant. It falls under the sedan category of $55,000. So that car is not categorized as an SUV. Neither is the Tesla Model Y long range or the Model Y performance, the 5-seat variants. So the IRS, and I've been trying to research this. I'm like, why wouldn't a 5-seat SUV be categorized as an SUV? So and apparently it's something to do with weight. So I think the way the IRS is they're saying is like it has to be over 6,000 pounds of curb weight gross to be categorized as an SUV. And I'm like, okay, so you are decentivizing automakers to build an efficient EV. Got it. That makes sense. Go ahead and pull up the link, producer wife, for the IRS. So this is for all automakers that have submitted a form so far to the United States. So the Escape plug-in hybrid, $80,000. The Ford e-Transit, $80,000. The Ford F-150 Lightning, $80,000. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is an SUV, $55,000, right? So this is not just a Tesla thing. It's an everybody thing, which opens up a lot of different questions, right? Because the Ford Mustang Mach-E that is now getting a $7,500 credit starting in January 1st is no longer going to get the $7,500 credit. But if you buy a Model Y 7-seat variant, it's going to get a $7,500 credit, which puts the Mustang Mach-E at a gigantic disadvantage. But then the 5-seat Model Y doesn't get it. This is obviously a net positive for Tesla, and I feel really bad for the third row supplier for Tesla because they're going to get absolutely hammered. So RIP, third row supplier. So somebody in the comments said that Volkswagen ID4 gets the credit, but it's smaller than a Model Y, and it's a 5-seater. So the 2023 Volkswagen ID4 all-wheel drive Pro gets the $80,000, but it's cubically smaller than the Model Y, and it's a 5-seater. It's not a 7-seater. So that's the kind of shit I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, it makes no sense.
So maybe the all-wheel drive Pro is 6,000, and so weight is the only way they're determining this?
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be. This is the wrong incentive.
Yeah.
Make your car heavier. Yeah, make your car heavier, and then you get oh, sorry. Oh, you're not as good at building an EV. Oh, sorry. Here's $7,500. What the sorry. What do you guys want to ask? Go ahead. Pick a topic before I start going on a freaking rant.
I was going to go on the rant with you.
Okay. Seriously, the $7,500 tax credit for the EV is also a $7,500 depreciation on the gas car because you can buy the better technology at cheaper relative to the one that's going out. And so what does that do to the inventory that's sitting in dealers? It automatically drops by $7,500 for every car that would have been purchased with an EV versus that car. This is a disaster, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time to play out. These are the things that like take 12 months, 18 months to work into the supply chain, into the system, right? And as the Fed, here's another, and as the Fed keeps raising rates, it becomes more expensive to buy a car. It gets more expensive to lease a car, and of course, it's going to impact EVs as well. Nobody's spared. But if the EV tax credit is going to soften the blow or negate the blow of people not being able to afford a car and the interest rates going up, but the IRA cancels that out, then really who's going to buy? What are the cars that are going to be bought? It's going to be EVs. It's not going to be gas cars. It's going to be EVs. I've been talking a lot this podcast. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm worked up.
There's only 3 of us. Remo, you got to talk for the last 15 minutes. Okay, you got this.
Yeah, I just have a question. The IRA, does this override all the old incentive systems with the limit? So actually, it's a benefit it's an advantage for Tesla, right? Because Tesla
100%
ran out of the old system. A lot of other car companies still had some quota there, and that's basically now cancelled, right? So it evens the playing field, and I think it's a huge advantage for Tesla because as you guys said, the EVs for the legacy car companies are not as profitable, if profitable at all, right? So it's a huge advantage. So now the old car companies will have to shift revenue to the less profitable cars, and Tesla can just supercharge their demand and keep going. So I just don't see any. I just don't see any point why this should be good news for any other than Tesla, to be honest.
And the one that gets the most screwed over is the Ford Mach-E, to be completely honest. Because the Ford Mach-E right now, if you buy it before the end of the year, it can take advantage of a $7,500 tax credit because it's a legacy tax credit. If it's being dealt as a sedan, if it's being viewed as a sedan, it loses $7,500 tax credit, and its direct competitor in the Model Y gains a $7,500 tax credit. So there is a $15,000 difference now between a Model Y and a Mach-E come January 1st. This is catastrophic, and they're already not making money on the Mach-E, you know. And then they have the F-150 Lightning. So that could hopefully bring him a lot of money. But the F-150 Lightning is going to eat into the F-150 gas car that makes them all the money. It's a catastrophe. Ford, like, I feel for Jim Farley, because Jim Farley is a great guy. I really feel like, and they have I like when they interview with Sandy Monroe, they came across as very well-meaning, like people that wanted to make a great product, and they're taking the plunge on EVs, and I commend Ford. But this setup couldn't be any worse for them. It kind of really sucks and I feel for them. Unless they can get that tax credit again for the Mach-E. If they can't, I don't know, man. Ford is, oh boy. Yeah, Ford is in a lot of trouble.